Hello everybody, this is Shri and welcome back to my channel Vedic Living. And today we are going to talk about the month of July 2022 and all the predictions for this particular month. This month, I like to call it as the month of extremes and very volatile. Now, before we get into the predictions, which, it's going to be very exciting predictions. Let me tell you about my newsletter, my free newsletter. So if you go to my website, the link is below this video. You can sign up for my free newsletter on my website. And also, my teacher, Joni Patri, is launching her very first astrology magazine. It is one of a kind. This particular magazine has been it has been a long time in the making, and I know it's one of Joni's cherished dreams. And let me tell you, this kind of magazine, you would have never seen a magazine like this before. The amount of information it will contain about all things Vedic related. So anything that's in the Vedas. So this includes astrology, palmistry, Ayurveda, yoga, meditation, all of that. And you'll find all the articles written by very renowned people in their fields. So I'll put a link to sign up for that magazine below this video. So make sure you check it out. Now let's go on to the predictions for the month of July. This month is exciting to say the least. There is so much happening. The first part of the month is going to be radically different from the second part of the month. And that's what I found so interesting when I was doing the predictions, because I thought, usually when we talk about predictions, we see kind of like the same gradient across the entire month, like everything's either positive or everything's either, kind of mediocre or very negative, but this month it's like really this, I don't know how to describe it. It's a spike, like the first part of the month is something that we don't see a lot in astrology or in the sky. In fact, there is going to be a time frame, the first week and a little bit going into the second week of July, where all the planets, except the sun and the moon, are in their own signs of rulership. This is very rare, okay? When a planet is in its own sign of rulership, we call it Swakshetra in astrology. It means it's in its own house. So it's like almost like, you own the house and you're living in that house. So you're really comfortable, right? You know where everything is, where all the rooms are, where everything in the kitchen is. So it's like the landlord or the homeowner is living in his own home. He's not renting it out. So the planet is very comfortable to express itself, right? In that particular sign. And if you think about it, when this happens, all the planets become very strong, right? After exaltation and Vargottama status, Swakshetra is considered to be a very strong position for planets. Saturn will be in Aquarius, Jupiter in Pisces, Mars in Aries, Venus is in Taurus, Mercury in Virgo. Okay, and there will be a couple of days in between when Moon is also in Cancer. So you have pretty much everybody except the sun in their own signs. So this is very auspicious, the first 2 weeks of July. I would say, the first week and a half of July almost, at least till July 12th. And I'll tell you what's going to happen on July 12th. But at least till then, this is happening. So it's a great time to start new projects, new initiatives that you want to do, new business ventures. I know Joni's, we are launching this magazine on July 7th, just to, kind of get the beautiful planetary rays, right, during this transition or during this transit into our venture, this new venture. So keep that in mind. This is a good time. Now, July 12th, Saturn will retrograde back into Capricorn. If you remember, in April, Saturn had gone into Aquarius, and on July 12th, it's going to go back into Capricorn for about 6 months, okay? The last time Saturn was in Capricorn was in 2020 and 2021. So when Saturn goes back into Capricorn on July 12th, we could ideally be revisiting some of those events. So I kind of see this as, there could be problems with the governmental control. There could be problems in the economy, finances, agriculture, changes in the earth, right? Capricorn is an earth sign. Capricorn rules government. So there could be some changes in the earth, like, earthquakes and that kind of events. But above everything, I think that, if you remember last time Saturn went into Capricorn was, around the time when, along with the the movement of the nodes, that combined was kind of what caused the pandemic. So there could be similar issues coming up in the next 6 months. But I can tell you the good news is it's over after that, right? This is like the last little, it's like you've learned some things and now Saturn's coming back into that sign to revise what you've learned. So remember to do everything that you've done in the past 2 years to survive, right? Connect to yourself, listen to your inner thoughts, listen to yourself before you listen to what the media is telling you. And remember to do all of those things that you did in the last 2 years for the next 6 months, because we kind of will see similar things around the world. Okay, you may be frustrated with the way things are being controlled. The government policies may frustrate you. New laws and new rules coming up may frustrate you. So, so those things. So remember, it's going to be, it's not permanent, right? Nothing in the sky is permanent. The planets are constantly moving. So it's a time to just kind of connect to your inner self and listen to your thoughts rather than what is being told to you. Okay. Now, between this, while Saturn is in Capricorn, another thing also is, if you remember, in November in the United States, we have the midterm elections. So I have a feeling, because of this revisiting the 2020 to 2022 years, right? The government changes and all of that, once again, people may not be happy about the rules and the regulations and stuff that is being imposed by the government. And also revisiting the elections. I have a feeling midterm election in November, there may again be problems with people questioning the validity of events. Okay, so similar, you can kind of see the similar trend of what happened in 2020 this next 6 months, from July 12th till January of next year. So just something to be aware of. Okay, so you know what's coming. Now, other than that, on July 20th, Sun is going to oppose Pluto. This is going to happen in the Cancer Capricorn axis. And remember, Sun stands for leadership, government leaders. And because Capricorn is also like involved in this exchange, Capricorn stands for government, and Pluto stands for control and manipulation. So once again, reiterating what I said earlier with Saturn going into Capricorn, the information that's coming to you right now through the media around the July 20th timeframe could be aimed at manipulating your thoughts. So remember that. And also with the, world leaders being impacted and the countries around the world being impacted through this transit, this is an important time to be careful and also find your inner truth before you listen to what is being told to you. And, anytime, every time in your life you're in doubt, listen to your inner voice. That's what I would say. Okay. Now, July 28th is the new moon. It's at 11 degrees of Cancer. And for those of you who know the nakshatras, that is where the nakshatra Pushya is located. And Pushya is actually one of the positive nakshatras. So I think this is going to be a breath of fresh air around that time frame. It deals with the food that you put in your mouth. It deals with nourishment. And I think of it as nourishment for the physical and the spiritual body, right? So this is a time to learn new topics, to delve into studies of spirituality, or to grow and evolve as a soul, right? And July 31st is going to be one of the most important conjunctions in this year. Everybody's talking about it everywhere, right? And all the YouTube videos. This is when Rahu, Uranus, and Mars will all be conjunct at 24 degrees of Aries. And those of you who are my clients and who have come to me for a reading in the last year or so, I would have pointed this out in your chart if it's impacting any of your personal planets. So if you have any planets at 24 degrees of Aries or 24 degrees of Libra, then be careful, I would say be more careful than the other people, okay? Because these three are malefic planets. There is positive to this too, because every planet or every sign has a higher octave meaning and a lower octave meaning, okay? So it's not going to be all bad. But this is one of the major transits that are happening this year. All these three planets have not been exactly conjunct for a really long time. Okay, and if you think about the meanings of the planets, Uranus stands for pioneering, it stands for innovation, finding new things, discoveries. Uranus also rules technology, space travel, it rules outer space, and also air travel, right? Aeroplanes are ruled by Uranus. So there can be major breakthroughs in these areas. You may see major discoveries coming out. Mars rules initiative. So because Mars and Uranus is coming together, it's about taking action. It's about no longer, being imaginative like the Pisces, right? Aries is about taking action, doing things. And again, Aries is all about the pioneer. So with Mars and Uranus coming together, this could mean that new things come out, new inventions come out, and all of that. So absolutely, right? Space travel, NASA, space exploration, all of those, you'll see new things coming up. But the lower octave meaning of these planets also have to be considered, because the way the planets impact us is the way our consciousness is. So if we are at a higher frequency, then the higher octave meaning, the good meanings will impact us. If we are at a lower frequency, then it could be the difficult meanings, right? So what does that mean? The lower octave meaning of Mars is anger and war and frustration, okay? Uranus can be unexpected violence. Rahu can magnify all of this. So we may see some violent events around the planet at this time, especially the Russia-Ukraine situation can escalate. Because remember, under the energy of these kind of transits, people typically don't want to negotiate or compromise. They all want to stand their ground and they want to argue and be angry, right? So that's why this is not a good time to make any deals or start anything new or start any new business or romantic relationships in your life, because it's not a time of, where people want to come to the table to discuss. This is a time when emotions are high. Okay, so remember that. Also, violent events could be seen around the planet. This is not a good time to travel because, like I said, Uranus rules airplanes and air travel. And not only that, another reason why it's not a great time to travel is the planet that rules travel, which is Mercury, is in its Gandhanta position at this time frame. What does Gandhanta mean? It means a planet is in the last few degrees of a water sign and the first few degrees of a fire sign. So Mercury is in that position, so it can feel out of control. So if you're traveling, you could lose your luggage, you could have cancellations, you just feel like you're out of control, right? Flight cancellations, flights could be delayed, that kind of stuff. So it's not a great time to travel at all. So remember, the last week of July and the first week of August, don't travel. Another thing also is around this time frame, communications can suffer. So this is why I was saying it's not a great time to, create new deals or make new projects or, meet new people or have business relationships and that kind of stuff, because like people are not thinking clearly. Okay, with Mercury being impacted and being in the Gandhanta position, and along with it, the fact that we have all these malefic planets together, anger and emotions are at a high. So it's not a great time to discuss things. Hold off on that for, I would say, a week or so, and then you can come back to those discussions. But those are the main transits in this month of July. I'm going to come back and continue my Nakshatra series here very soon, probably in the next couple of days. If you want to make an appointment with me, go to my website that's below this video, and you can make an appointment with me. And I also want to once again remind you to sign up for my free newsletter. Okay, so whatever transits are like really pronounced and important, I talk about those here on YouTube, but my newsletter will have a lot more information, a lot more details about each transit if you're interested in that. So make sure you go to my website and sign up for my newsletter. Thank you again for listening, and I'll see you next time.